Tennessee has a variety of different types of wetlands, and we all receive services from them. Up in the Appalachians, we tend to see much smaller wetlands. They tend to be more punctuated. As you move down into central Tennessee and then out into western Tennessee, they tend to be more of these kind of floodplain wetlands, much larger, much more connected. Wetlands can be small, and they can look really inconsequential, but it's not just about what's happening within the wetland. It's also thinking about how are they connecting out to potentially other wetlands that are on the landscape. For our larger things, they may need to have a small wetland where maybe they can have offspring and raise them successfully without a lot of predators. And then maybe they need to go to a larger wetland where they're going to have ample resources and forage and the ability to grow and support those offspring. But then they come back to those smaller wetlands. And so having a network of protected wetlands can be really important. Up here on top of the plateau, we tend to find these isolated ephemeral wetlands. We call them vernal pools. They're easy to overlook because they're dry for part of the year. They're hard to find, but despite that, they're really important for a lot of our biodiversity and part of our natural heritage here in Tennessee. What typically happens in a wetland like this is that the rains come in the fall, the water starts to fill. Under the mud and the leaves and things that are here are eggs of invertebrates, or even we have crayfish that burrow down deep to get down to the water table. The salamanders come down, they lay their eggs and eat all of those things like fairy shrimp and little copepods and little tiny crustaceans that are macroscopic. So when the salamanders move, we have a whole host of predators that follow them. So we have raccoons, we have river otters, we have owls even that will sit in the trees and watch them. Salamanders are a huge part of Tennessee's natural heritage. But even if you don't care about them or don't think that they are super cute like I do, they're just really important to supporting those food webs. If you care about turkey, if you care about harvested species, deer, things like that, the energy that they are consuming is in part due to the return of nutrients from those wetlands. When we look at wetlands, it's really easy to underestimate them as small features. When we try to develop into homes, into industry, it's not just about losing the populations. If you were to build over this wetland or fill it in, that population would be lost. You may lose things like wood ducks that would have used this area potentially as a stopover point within another network of ponds. So I think one of the things that biologists can be really helpful to a variety of different folks is understanding how we can both preserve the wildlife that use these kinds of wetlands, as well as allow us to do the things that we need to do on our landscapes. With a little bit of information, we can create win-win situations for biodiversity and for the landowners.